What happens when an ordinary, unqualified animal is suddenly handed absolute power? Whether a leader can survive the weight of their own deception is a question that defines this ancient story. Long ago, a starving jackal named Chandarava reached his breaking point. Unable to find food in his natural forest habitat, he wandered into the streets of a nearby village, trading the safety of the trees for the chance at human scraps. He was noticed almost immediately. A pack of territorial village dogs spotted him and began a vicious chase through the narrow alleys. Cornered and desperate, Chandarava saw a dyer's workshop with a massive open vat of liquid. He made a blind leap into the dark pool to hide from the dogs. The dogs eventually lost his scent and moved on. By the time he stopped shivering, the jackal realized that the dye had replaced his natural coat with something unrecognizable, providing him a disguise he could never have planned. The next morning, with the village quiet, the jackal cautiously pulled himself out of the vat. Looking down at a puddle on the workshop floor, he froze. The chemicals had changed his fur to a vibrant sky blue. He looked like a different creature entirely. With his scavenger appearance hidden under the blue coat, he found a sudden surge of confidence. He began the walk back to the forest, ready to test if the other animals would see him as a stranger instead of a target. When the blue jackal stepped back into the dense trees, the reaction was immediate. The native animals, having never seen a creature of this color, reacted with confusion and fear. The existing social hierarchy shifted the moment he arrived. Apex predators like tigers and lions, usually the first to attack, instead stepped back and lowered their heads. Chandarava seized the moment. He stood tall on a rock and announced that he was a divine messenger, sent by the gods to rule and protect the forest. The animals accepted the claim. They crowned him king by sunset, and soon the predators were bringing him fresh meals daily and guarding his den while he rested. In a single day, he reached the top of the food chain. This new status came from a gamble on the animal's fear of the unknown, rather than a display of strength or wisdom. On the outside, Chandarava lived in luxury. Inside, he lived with the daily terror that his true identity would be discovered. He was now paying a deception tax. When a life is built on a lie, the maintenance requires the constant construction of walls to keep the secret safe. This meant expelling all other jackals from the forest, knowing his own kind would recognize his scent. By banishing them, he removed his only true peers. He was now alone within his perimeter, with only dangerous predators watching his every move. While the lie had built a kingdom, the effort to maintain it had trapped him in a state of absolute isolation. The pressure came to a head on a quiet, moonlit night. The king sat on his rocky throne, surrounded by his dangerous, sleeping guards. A sound cut through the cold air. From far off in the distance, a pack of wild jackals began to howl. Hearing the voices of his own kind triggered a biological response. His instincts pushed against the quiet, dignified royal persona he had spent weeks carefully maintaining. The urge was too strong to resist. Logic gave way to biology. He closed his eyes, threw his head back, and let out a piercing howl into the night sky. Blue dye and a borrowed throne could not change his fundamental nature. The mask was gone. The illusion vanished instantly. The lion and tiger awoke and recognized the unmistakable sound of a common scavenger. The predators realized they had been serving their own prey. They turned on their former king, chasing him out of the territory and into the wilderness. Chandarava's story suggests that deception provides a shortcut, but never a permanent foundation. How would you react to discovering a leader was a fraud? Tell us in the comments. And if you value these ancient lessons, please like and subscribe for more. Real achievement is built on the honesty of who you are, because eventually, the truth finds a way out.